Yes, I'm oogly goo, because today I'm going to be ranking every single Smiling Friends Season 3 episode from worst to best. Smiling Friends is genuinely what I consider to be probably the best adult animated show to come out in maybe the past 5 years. In a scene that is just so dominated by cynical shows, it's so nice to have something whimsical. I don't always want to watch main characters being like, I hate my life, I have a drinking problem, everything sucks. It's just lame. So then you have the show that is honestly majestic, the characters are memorable, the concept is interesting, and the jokes are actually unbelievably funny. I love Smiling Friends, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch all these episodes, give you my thoughts, give you my reactions, and rank them all from worst to best. And if you're thinking, oh well, there might be 2 bonus episodes coming, so how can you rank the whole season? I don't know when those are going to come out, if they're real, it's all speculation, so I'm just gonna rank the first base 8 episodes with the Gleep finale and starting off with Silly Samuel. So it should be a lot of fun. If you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. I upload almost every single day, and you don't want to miss it. And if you want a place where you can share your favorite games, movies, shows, all that good stuff, my Discord will be in the description. Now let's finally take a look at Smiling Friends Season 3. Taking a look at the episode, the Gleep ep, and this is the newest episode. It came out today, so if you don't want spoilers, then I would skip this part. But this episode was honestly the most underwhelming episode of the entire season. Maybe I was just expecting way too much because Alan's solo episode is probably one of the best episodes in the series, and this episode just didn't seem to hit any of its marks. It's not bad per se, but it doesn't do anything so grandiose that felt worthy of being the Gleep ep. There's only a couple things that I really liked. I liked the beginning of the episode a lot. I thought that was fine, where they're just having their yearly reviews, and Charlie and Pim made, 7 more people smile, and Alan says, thank you, Master.
Good job, man.
Thank you, Master.
When he's thanking Mr. Boss, I just think Alan's a very funny character. I enjoy him a lot. And then they start to question what Gleep does around here, which leads to Mr. Boss confronting Gleep, and Gleep crashes out, which also was pretty good. And I thought his crash out was going to lead to some amazing, beautiful things, just like Alan's episode. Maybe I shouldn't have correlated the two, because I guess this is more about Gleep's internal struggles as a person, but I didn't really care. I mean, it's Gleep. I thought it was going to get way more wacky, and it gets wacky, but it never really feels like it goes all the way to Smiling Friends level with the jokes. At least that's how I view it. So you have Gleep, and he goes home to his European wife, who is like, Gleep, you never give me any attention anymore. I'm leaving to go stay with my folks for the holidays. Which, it's surprising that Gleep has a humanoid, big bosomed European wife. That was very interesting, but it's more of a shock value joke. It didn't really get me there, but still interesting nonetheless. So Gleep's really sad. He goes out to the bar, he hands his ID, and he's apparently born in 323 AD. So he's been around for a very long time, to say the least. And that's when we get a bunch of flashbacks with Gleep's life, which again is where I thought the episode was going to heat up a little bit, and it still doesn't. It's still fun. It's not boring by any means, but it doesn't feel like any of the other episodes from this season. So you have Gleep, he's in 427 AD, and he goes to see the Roman Emperor for stealing fruit, and he's gonna get killed, and he just hits a little jig, which I loved his jig. I found it great, just a little tappy tap dance, and then the Emperor says, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and then he kills himself.
I hate it! I'm going insane!
So yeah, that's kind of funny. That was good. I liked it. And then we cut to, I think, 700 or whatever, the next year, where the plague is going on. And Plague spits on this group that is doing a Salem witch trial on him, which causes the plague and kills them. So he's the starter of the plague. That was also just a fine gag, not my favorite. And then we go to the 1727 with the founding fathers. They're all around a campfire, just doing the bro thing, having a couple broskies, just drinking it back, and they're all conversating, having a great time. And Gleep says something, and nobody fucks with it. And they're like, who invited this guy? It must have been Ben. And they point over to Benjamin Franklin, and he's just pissing himself.
I think it was Ben.
Which is wild, I guess. I don't know. So Gleep's very sad, and then we cut to modern times. where Gleep meets Mr. Boss for the very first time, and he hits that same little jig when Mr. Boss is about to kill himself, which makes him smile. Good stuff, and they decide to form the Smiling Friends! And so he goes back to the company, and the Smiling Friends is just in absolute ruin without Gleep. Everybody's just running around crazy. Mr. Boss has an arrow in his eye. It's just struggles. Cool. Okay, so Gleep gets his job back, and then we just get a family Christmas dinner because this was a holiday episode, and there's this guy with a really long nose. I don't know who he is, but he's just saying, and that's how Gleep got his job back. Oh ho ho, and now we can all rejoice without that one certain group of people here. We are so happy without that certain group of people. And then we just have Charlie and this guy arguing for a very long time about what certain group of people he's talking about, and that's pretty much the entire episode. Yeah, that's all there really is to it. None of the jokes were too crazy. Oh, I did forget one where Gleep gets kicked out of the bar by that same guy who, tormented Pim in the very first episode of Smiling Friends, where Pim is like, oh, will you be my friend? And then he's like, what the fuck, dude? Don't touch me. Get off of me. Dude, you're so old. What are you doing here? They just redid that joke.
You started the bubonic plague? Huh? You think that's funny? What the fuck, man? Fuck you.
And yeah, it was nice to see him again, but it's just the same exact joke, and it didn't land as good as the first time, I guess. So yeah, this episode was really underwhelming for me. I wonder if people liked it a lot. I would love to hear thoughts on this one. There was just nothing to make this episode shine, at least for me. I don't think I really even laughed, except for at Alan in the beginning saying, thank you, Master. I don't think there was anything that really got me. It was still entertaining. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely the worst of this season. So if I was to rate it 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 7 out of 10, which doesn't sound bad at all by any means. But once you see my other rankings for all this stuff, you'll understand why a 7 isn't very good compared to the rest. Taking a look at the episode Squim Returns, we actually open with some show beef to start it off. Smiling Friends versus The Simpsons, baby, let's go. There was an episode of The Simpsons where Bart shows off the Smiling Friends, and it's really over-exaggerated. He's watching it, but he enjoys it. It's not the biggest shot in the world, so Smiling Friends did their own version, where it's Homer as a green humanoid eating Bart, and I actually think it's pretty hilarious.
Hot to it, man.
Boy.
I like it when shows take shots at each other, not in the most atrocious way ever, where they have to try to degrade everything that the show did, because The Simpsons is iconic. Should it have ended maybe, I don't know, 15 seasons ago? Yeah, but you know, they weren't trying to eviscerate it. It's just a small gag that was kind of funny. I liked it. I thought it was good. So, he is now just getting ready. He gets a call from Charlie, and Charlie is pretending to be sick. That silly bastard. So he goes into the office, and Mr. Boss wants to send him on a job. Charlie isn't there, so he calls in Squim. And Squim is just like this, he's like a little smiley emoji. That's basically all he is, and he's really positive. He's really out there. He's over-exaggerated. He's just a pure embodiment of positivity. How great. So they're going to go on a call together. We cut back to Charlie, and Charlie is playing Grand Strategy 4 or something. And this is such a real scene, because I couldn't imagine if I, like, called in sick and I was on Steam and I got a call from my boss, or if I was in school, if I got a call from my teacher or something. They were just like, hey, how you doing? You're not feeling too good? I see you playing Grand Strategy 4, you bitch!
The only problem is I can see you on Steam right now playing Grand Strategy 4, you fucking liar, you fucking piece of shit, little fucking rat.
What? No, I don't know you.
And yeah, that would just be atrocious and make me ruin my day. So Charlie now has to go into work, but he's been eating some kebabs, so he's not feeling very good. Pim and Charlie, they're able to solve that Smiling Friend issue very fast. It's a rat and a maggot. They're arguing, this is my trash! No, you stupid fat rat. It's mine. And then Squim just starts going, be positive, be positive, be positive. And so they decide to be friends again. Lovely. Fantastic. Very, very good stuff. Cutting back to Charlie, I think we get one of the most accurate portrayals of what a bad trip can look like.
Do you know what the next stop is?
Speaking from an awful, atrocious experience, going through Charlie. because whatever those kebabs did to him, it was not good, because he starts tripping balls in a nightmarish way to where everything starts looking like a different type of art form. It all pops out at him, and it looks actually terrifying. It's very accurate to what it can be like when you're not in a very good mental state going through that. It looks atrocious, and it sucks, but it's actually really well done, like art-wise, animation-wise. I can really appreciate how hard they tried to make this look like a truly horrifying experience for Charlie. It's just honestly crazy what he's beginning to go through. He throws up on the floor, and then he gets out of the bus, and everybody's just looking scary, looking terrifying, and he's just trying to get to work as we just get more cuts of that animation just looking so terrifying. It's just wild. We cut back to Pim and Squim, and they decide because they finished the job early, they can go and get some ice cream, and this is just... Like, I get you want to be positive, Squim, but dear lord, like, come on, man. He walks into the ice cream shop, and the ice cream's man, he's just like, yeah, I love my store. Me and my beautiful wife, Darlene, started it 30 years ago, rest her soul. And Squim looks at him and just dead-ass goes, dead wife? That's not positive. Ugh, let's do the dead wife dance. And starts just dancing all over him, just emoting. It's like somebody's just pressing an emo button on him.
Oh, your wife is dead? Oh, that's not positive. Oh, you gotta be positive. You gotta do the Squim dance. Get a little squim, make a little...
It's just crazy. He starts hitting, like, I don't know, a cramp. He just starts cramping it up. It's just crazy. Like, I get you want to be positive, but the man's wife, she's gone. She's gone. So Pim takes him out and is like, you can't be that positive, man. That was messed up. And Squim is all like, you're right, I need to be more positive. And so he goes, and we find a naked Charlie who is tweaking, and Squim jumps in front of him, takes the bullets for Charlie from the police because Charlie was about to be shot for tweaking and being naked. He gets shot a lot. He turns into a ghost. They shoot his ghost.
Everybody do the Squim dance.
He's doing the Squim dance. Shoot him. And then Charlie wakes up in the hospital after his awful, atrocious, bad trip, and we get to see the remnants of Squim, and he is just going to need psychiatric and physical care for the rest of his life. He's just condemned to a wheelchair. Rip Squim, to say the least. And that's pretty much the entire episode. You know, I could just, no matter what I do, I never know where an episode is going to go. I did not expect Charlie taking a sick day with the preview that I saw to turn into him having one of the worst trips I've ever seen. It's just crazy. Don't eat those kebabs, I guess. Don't eat parasite kebabs. They'll get ya. I thought Squim was an interesting character. He's definitely not one of my favorite wacky characters. I think his be positive thing was pretty kooky, pretty wild, pretty interesting to say the least, and him getting shot genuinely shocked me. I didn't expect the death of Squim, especially like that. This episode definitely isn't my favorite from the season. I actually think it's lacking in some ways. I don't know. I think it's really good still. It just, I don't know, something about it I just didn't really necessarily want to watch it again, which usually when I'm done with these episodes, I'm like, oh, I really want to watch this episode again and again and again because it's just that good. But that episode just didn't have that flair, at least for me. So if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 9 out of 10. And it's weird when I'm talking, like, negatively about it and I still give it a 9 out of 10, but it's still phenomenal and better than any other slop that any other show is producing nowadays. So still really good. 9 out of 10 is phenomenal, not something I would usually give out, but for Smiling Friends, hey, you got it, you earned it. So yeah, still really good, but doesn't quite get all the way up to the 10 out of 10 range. Taking a look at the episode Schmaloos, this episode actually has what I consider to be, like, the dullest opening, like, first 3 minutes compared to the rest of the season. It's not bad by any means, it's just setting it up, but I don't know, if you don't really find jokes like, I'm smurfing it over here, just smurfing my smurf, just jorking my smurf, then it's just not really gonna get you. It's just a smurf parody. That's what the Schmaloos are. Charlie and Pim are tasked to go and help them, so they get to their village and they're just like, the Schmaloogle machine isn't schmooging anymore, we need help with our schmoogles, and it's just, it's whatever. Like, it's not the most engaging thing ever, which, I mean, I shouldn't really be complaining. I mean, it's just setting the episode up. It just feels like the majority of Smiling Friends episodes, they take a little bit less time to get into the, you know, comedy of it all. I found the beginning of it to just be a little bit boring, but it is just setting it up. I shouldn't complain too much. So Charlie, because he's hearing them say Schmaloogle a lot, he's not really about this, so he says, Pim, I think this one's all you. This seems like a lot more your criteria. So Pim is willing to help them, and then a dragon just comes out of the sky and takes Pim and a couple Schmaloogles all the way up to his castle. And, like, 1 2 3
was that?
And Charlie's like, Pim, no! And yeah, that's what I expect out of a Smiling Friends episode, stuff like that. It was just getting there took a long time. Like at the beginning, I didn't even mention it because I just didn't find it that funny. There's an entire sequence where Mr. Boss is with his friend talking about this movie Clerks. I just didn't care for it. It insisted upon itself, to say the least. I couldn't care. So, either way, once we get to the dragon, that's when stuff really starts picking up, because Charlie's like, don't you guys want to go save him? And they're like, no, we're too busy schmaloogling all over. We're schmaloogles, we don't do that. And Charlie gets them really amped up and excited, so he, like, gets them to want to fight. And at the same time, Pim is taken to this evil castle and watches a schmaloogle die, and he tries to get put into the schmaloogle machine, and the evil wizard can't do it, so yeah, Pim gets to live for a little bit, to say the least. So, we cut back to Charlie, and Charlie convinces them all to train, and this is, like, probably the funniest part of the episode, where it just goes to, like, rotoscope, and all the schmaloogles get really buff just for the montage. They don't stay that way, but while they're training, they're jacked, they're ripped, they're huge.
Something more constructive.
Like what?
How about a cool training montage?
And it's just really funny to watch all these blue creatures look like that. It's unbelievably funny. What else can I possibly say? We cut back to Pim and this evil wizard, and the reason that he's killing schmaloogles is because he's going bald. And like low-key, he's pretty valid for like his hatred and his reasoning. Like, if you're bald and you're watching this, prepare yourself because you're about to hear some of the realest stuff on earth. So he's talking to Pim, and he's like, you want to know my problem with being bald? You want to know why I'm having such a dilemma here? And he shows a picture of a bald guy, and he's like, what do you think this guy does? What do you think his job is? And Pim says construction worker, or, you know, blue collar worker.
Go!
Looks like a construction worker, a mechanic, like just someone who works with
interesting. So sort of like blue collar, bottom of the society.
No.
And the wizard's like, yeah. And what if I give him some hair? And he gives him like a nice, decent, well-cut haircut. And Pim is like, I don't know what his job is. Oh, so what? You don't think he could be blue collar anymore? You don't think he looks like that?
Still a construction worker?
He could, like, yeah, I mean...
Could he? Really?
And, you know, I hate to say it, I hate to type class based on your physical appearance, your haircut, whether you're bald or not, but I get what he's saying. The guy, once he has hair, he doesn't look like he's a blue-collar worker anymore, and I don't know if I'm gonna get flamed for saying that. I mean, the episode paints it perfectly as the joke, but he's got a fucking point. He doesn't look like a blue-collar worker anymore. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that you can't be blue-collar and have hair, but he doesn't have that vibe anymore. It's very odd. When he's bald, he has a vibe. To be a construction worker or a mechanic, it's very odd. But there was some truth in what he was saying, which made the scene all the more funny, because it's just this laid-back conversation, but he's fucking right. And then Charlie shows up with his army of schmaloogles, and they all rush the castle. We just get some good animation stuff with them storming it. They go up the stairs, they get all the way up there, they tie him up, and he's on the ground. And we get a conversation about how, oh, it's okay to be bald. You just have to start taking these, like, vitamins or whatever and not worry about the side effects. Good stuff. So they all decide to be friends and buddies. And, yeah, they go to the gas station. They're having a good time. And then the Schmaloogle King, he's all like, Charlie, I saw you take a picture of the Schmaloogle princess's dress. And I wasn't cool with that, man. And it's weird because, like, I saw something on Instagram, I think, where Charlie actually did take a picture of Princess Schmaloogle's dress, or underneath Princess Schmaloogle's dress, but then I went back and I watched the episode and I went through that scene, and he doesn't do it. I mean, at least maybe I missed the frame, but it doesn't look like he takes a picture underneath her dress. Maybe he does, but I didn't see that. Either way, this episode was still really good. It just had some low moments for me, especially in the beginning. It just took a long time to pick up, but once it did, it kept the ball rolling. Schmaloogles working out was a lot of fun and was really funny to see. I love the animation for that. The storming of the castle was really good. The evil wizard's conversation with Pim was a lot of fun because there was some truth to it, even though, you know, you probably should just use hair growth products instead of murdering tiny Smurf people, but hey, to each their own. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think it crosses that threshold to be 10 out of 10. I don't know. There's just some things holding it back, and I guess I hold this show to such a high standard because this season has been really consistent, and nothing's wrong with a 9 out of 10. It just isn't my favorite of the season. taking a look at the season premiere, Silly Samuel, I love the beginning of this episode because it has that good, casual, nonchalant conversation that turns just awry, with Mr. Boss calling Pim and Charlie into his room, and he's just playing Five Finger Filet so casually while he's like, "You guys need to go to Silly Samuel at 123 Wacky Way. He needs your help to schmal." I love Mr. Boss. I think he's a great character. I don't know why he had to play the finger game, but I mean, I guess the first time we ever saw him, he was just feeding Jason with his nipple, so it's very on brand for his character. So he starts filleting way faster because Charlie asks if he can get hurt, and he catches on fire and the building starts shaking.
I can go faster! I can go faster! I can go faster! I can go faster! I can go faster!
Beautiful way to open the episode. That's exactly what I needed to see, just Mr. Boss doing his casual tweaking, and it just gets better from there. They go to meet Silly Samuel, and I really love his character. He's very cynical and he's kind of an asshole, but can you blame him? If I was born with a cuckoo clock head, a cheese body, a lobster claw, a strange face, and I produce silly sausages out of my body when I'm talking to people or when I want breakfast, can you imagine just waking up and you're just like, and just make a sausage out of your body for you to eat? I don't know, some people probably do that. I bet you're out there, I bet you're watching this video, and you just produced your own little silly sausage to consume, you little freak of nature. But either way, Silly Samuel is struggling and he wants to be taken seriously.
"I'm eating silly sausages off the hood of my shitbox Corolla. Please help me."
So Charlie, after Samuel just rants about his 2002 shitbox Toyota Corolla, is making his breakfast, Charlie's like, "Well, I think you got a major problem here. I mean, have you looked at yourself? Like, have you noticed the problem?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And it doesn't zoom up on his face. It just like is hyper realistic, which was so funny.
I feel like there's like a really obvious solution here.
What do you mean?
And they give him the brilliant idea to change his looks by going to a doctor and getting some plastic surgery, and then maybe people will take him seriously because he doesn't look so utterly silly. Brilliant idea. Brilliant. And the A plot is decent with Silly Samuel, but the B plot is really what gets me for this episode, because you just cut back to Mr. Boss and he's like, "I'm bored," and it's just bouncing a tennis ball trying to get Alan to go on a drive or do something with him. I love the conversation. I can't get over it. It's so good. He's just trying to get Alan to do something. They get a knock on the door and it's just like this little man who, I guess it's just an old person thing, but before he says anything, he's like, "Hello, here for a routine inspection." And then we have just something I've been quoting for probably 2 months, where Mr. Boss, he's shocked that he's about to get an inspection. He's just like, "Could you just give me a sec?" "Alan, we are so fucked." "Why?"
Cool. Can you give me a sec?
Alan, we are so fucked.
Why?
He just has this conversation with Alan while he's pinned up against a wall, explaining that he got some, immigrants from the enchanted forests of migrant workers to make his Smiling Friends building with a face, and it breaks every rule in the book. It should not exist, and it's just such a funny conversation. I love Mr. Boss, the way he could go from, "Could you just give me a sec?" "Alan." It's so funny. I was so happy after this episode debuted when I go on Instagram and there's just a million memes with "Alan, we are so fucked." So yeah, he invites the little guy in, he moans his way in, he's like, "Let's see now. We then cut back to Charlie and Pim. We're at the doctor, and they're trying to just get all his stuff sorted. The doctor walks in, and, the hatred for Silly Samuel just continues, because he was just born wrong. I had a cleft lip, but at least I wasn't born looking like create your own character on Roblox or something. He has a major artery that goes up from his crab claw, through his cheese body, up to his cuckoo clock head, and if he does anything to his body, he'll just fucking die. Poor guy. There's no changing it. There's no going back on it. You're silly looking for the rest of your life. That's just tragic. And you're probably thinking, well, what if he puts on clothes? They ask him that. Could he just cover up with some clothes? No. He breathes through his skin. Samuel, you've been given everything wrong. God, he should be a Make-A-Wish kid at this point. There's just nothing going good for him in terms of wanting to be taken seriously. It's just a very, very sad existence, and I don't know why he has to be like that. It's just so wild. He starts tweaking and freaking out and just eviscerates the doctor with his cuckoo claw head.
Fuck you, man. There's nothing silly about me. Yeah.
Oh my. Pim has a beautiful, wondrous idea to take him to the circus so that he can embrace his silliness, you know, become comfortable with who he is. So they go to the circus, and dear Lord, this is like the equivalent of if you're feeling bad about yourself. Like, let's say you have like a peg leg, or your nose is a little crooked, or you're a little bit overweight and you sit in the crowd at the circus, and somebody just looks at you and is like, "Oh, he's big! He's so big! You're big and weird! Come here, come up on stage so everybody could laugh at you and mock you." That's exactly what happens to Silly Samuel. He's just sitting in the audience and there's these weird freaks just doing their acrobatic nonsense, and they just pick out Silly Samuel and they just start roasting him like, "You look weird."
You look weird.
Ah,
Doesn't he look weird, kiddies?
ah, you just dislocated my arm.
They pull him up and then they like dislocate his arm and they don't even care, and he starts tweaking and wreaks havoc on the circus, but they all deserved it. I wouldn't be surprised if this episode led to Silly Samuel, like, committing a shooting, because he's pretty valid for it. Like, even in a place of time, a circus where freaks are supposed to be looked at with maybe a little bit of, you know, moderation, like, you know, oh, we're at the circus, that's a little normal. Silly Samuel is literally ostracized by the freaks. You just can't make that shit up. So we then cut back to Mr. Boss and Alan, and, they're just getting inspected, and we finally get to see what happens to that guy in season 1 in the Desmond episode where he like is in the walls, he has a computer, and he's like, "Well, it's not really your business, is it? Yeah, leave, buddy." Yeah, he was a bit of a tweaker just living in their walls for no reason, and Alan's like, I don't even think you're supposed to be in here. It's just wild, and he's just sitting there, he's a corpse. He's dead.
I don't know what that is.
When did he pass away and why was he in the wall? We'll never know, but he's dead. Yeah. So they go into the basement and there's a bunch of weird stuff in there. I'm not really going to go into detail about that, but Mr. Boss almost kills him with a brick.
Oh, Mr. Boss, what are you doing?
And Alan barely stops him. He's like, "Mr. Boss, what are you doing?" Just barely manages to stop him from murdering this little guy. Oh, it's just so wild. And then they find this little screw on the ground. And Mr. Boss is like, "Oh, that's just the nail that holds the entire building to the ground." And he's like, "Yeah, right, very funny." And he takes it out of the ground, and the entire just Smiling Friends building starts rolling away down the street, wreaking havoc and murdering people.
Deus misericordia nostri.
God. It's just shenanigan after shenanigan, but the story is actually built well. It's not just for shock value, it's actually for comedic value, and I love it so much. We then cut back to Pim and Charlie, and they're sitting on a bench with Silly Samuel. Silly Samuel's feeling a little bit defeated. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, if you were stuck looking like this and you just got ostracized at the circus, I would be hating my life. You know, just about to grab that gun and do something heinous. I mean, they're in America after all. What do you expect? So yeah, he's just very sad, and Charlie just does, I guess, what you could call the final straw, the ultimate rage bait. He asks for a silly sausage because he's hungry. He really wants to just be given a big ol' sausage from Samuel. He wants it so bad, and Samuel just starts tweaking out, crashing, just, and a crowd forms, and they're all like, "He's so silly! He's so silly!" Well, Samuel is just having the biggest crash out of his entire life, freaking out on everybody, just literally talking about how the government's evil, all that stuff. He's hating on everybody. And the big, like, yellow building, it's coming at them at high speeds, and it barely manages to stop because Gleep puts the nail back in the building, and everybody takes Samuel seriously now because they're like, "Oh my god, we almost died! He was right! He was right!" So now Samuel is finally taken seriously, probably off to become a dictator, or, you know, a ruler, or just maybe he's gonna open a little coffee shop called Serious Samuel's. Who knows? Who knows? But then we get to the just beautiful highlight of an ending where the inspector is talking to Mr. Boss, and Mr. Boss is like, "We failed, didn't we?" She's like, "You aced it. You did exactly what you had to do. Oh, that was funny shit, man. There was a dead guy in that wall. I had a lot of fun. We should hang out forever." And then he just vanishes into dust. He just disappears.
Hello?
Oh my gosh.
Why? Why does that happen? And then Charlie walks over and he's like, oh, did that guy just disappear into dust? What was that about? And then the episode just ends. Why did he turn into dust? But he was so unbelievably funny. Just because he's literally like, oh, that was awesome, man. We should hang out every day. And then it's like Thanos snapped the gauntlet and he's just vaporized from existence. And it's so unbelievably funny. Man, I loved this. I loved this episode a lot. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 9 out of 10. I would say some of the Samuel parts were a little bit dull. I liked the B plot a lot more, even though that wasn't the main feature. Like, the circus part was funny and added to Samuel's struggles, but it really wasn't keeping me fully engaged. There was nothing wrong with it. I just think certain other parts of the episode were a lot better, and that was kind of a low point. So it's a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 is fantastic. It's amazing. I don't give those out a lot, so still really good. But there's just a tiny part of it that I thought was a little bit slower than the rest of the episode. That's not bad, but it's still a really good episode. I liked Samuel as a character. I thought he was interesting. I thought the concept was fun. I liked that he made silly sausages. Everything with Mr. Boss and that old man was really funny. Alan, we are so fucked. Why? I just think it works really well. I think it's a phenomenal episode. Taking a look at the episode Curse of the Halloween Green Witch, this episode is a lot more of a spectacle than a comedy. It's just actually unreal what they were able to do with the budget and the animation here. It just takes it all the way to the top, and it's definitely the best animation-wise that we've seen of Smiling Friends, just by far. This is obviously the Halloween special, and usually they cook with these, and this was really no different. They went the extra mile here. I actually really love the beginning of this episode where they do some stuff with claymation. It's just like a 10 or 15 second segment where Charlie is showing everybody this movie, and the claymation looks actually really cool. It's just a horror movie with claymation. I like it. What can I say? So that ends, and then Mr. Boss is tweaking out a little bit. He's like, that was the coolest thing ever. That was so cool. Oh my gosh. How did they even do that? Like, was that claymation? What was that? And it turns out that he was just smoking a little za. So he was tweaking out a little bit, and then everybody calms him down. That's good. They all get a little bit hungry, and they want to order a pizza. Well, Pim suggests pizza, and nobody listens to him, and everybody just starts treating Pim like absolute dog shit, being so mean to Pim, which is very uncharacteristic of everybody. Everybody's usually, you know, a little bit friendly. Charlie can be a little bit pessimistic, but they're usually friendly. So watching everybody bully my main man Pim, I was ready to square up. He's just a little nice guy. He's just, I like kids, Charlie! I like kids! You know, how could you not like Pim? He's a great little guy. He's just doing the best that he possibly can. So they get a ring at the doorbell, and it's this green witch, and she's like, oh, can you just spare a dime for a sexy little green witch? Oh, please. And they say no, they just slam the door on her, and we get back and the power cuts out. And so Mr. Boss and Pim are going to go and look for the breaker, and they're still being very mean to Pim. And Gleep literally has a possession. It's beginning, it started, and just a bunch of things start to go a little bit awry, to say the least. Like, genuinely. Mr. Boss and Alan are just looking for the breaker, and he ends up getting shocked and blasted by it. And we cut back to Pim and Charlie, and Gleep's possession is going crazy. He's freaking out. They manage to tie him to the table, and Charlie's like, the power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you! And he spits all over him.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ!
It's just actually kind of horrifying, and it just gets more horrifying as the episode continues. Mr. Boss wakes up, and he starts to see his ghostly dead mom, and he wants to chase after it. He's dealing with his mom, and then Pim, he runs into Alan, and Alan's like, oh, me always been this way. And he's a spider. He's just a little literal spider, and he starts going, he just falls to the ground, and he just gives birth to baby spiders, just literally spewing his ejaculation all over Pim.
It hurts.
Oh dear lord, so Pim runs away from Spider Alan, and that's pretty crazy stuff going on. We cut to Charlie, and he's looking in the mirror, and he starts melting because of the stuff that Gleep put all over him, like actually melting. His teeth are falling out, and it's genuinely just horrifying. It's crazy. Mr. Boss is dealing with his mother, and his mother attacks him viciously. There's so much going on. Pim is now just running through a hallway. He falls into a bathtub. He gets jump scared. He's running through the hallway again. He sees literal Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. What are you doing here, sir? How did you get in this universe, you silly little feller? I don't understand it. He's just getting really scared, and he eventually ends up in this room where there's like this giant figure talking to him, getting under his skin, and Pim and Charlie just starts saying, "It's all your fault, Pim. Why didn't you give the woman a dime?" When Pim was the only one who actually wanted to give the woman a dime. And so Pim, he snaps, chokes Charlie to death, and then goes around and kills all of the other smiling friends in gruesome, horrific ways. He uses, a parasite spray or bug spray on Alan and gets rid of him. He stabs Mr. Boss to death, strangles Gleep. He even kills the poor old janitor. Dear Lord, the spectacle is crazy. The fire animation was wild as the building catches on fire and pins Pim to the ground and he dies. And then we find out that it was just the witch showing what would happen if they don't give her the dime. Which is where the comedy gets back in, you know? There was really nothing too funny about this episode for the first maybe like 10 minutes. It's just all a spectacle, all really impressive animation with a good actual horror scenes. Like, watching Charlie melt was probably one of the most gruesome scenes in the show. Just watching him melt and his teeth fall out as he's trying to like pick himself up, that was genuinely horrifying. And so, we have the witch showing that, and it's like, that's what will happen if you don't give me the dime, so give me the dime! And Mr. Boss just starts choking her out, saying, tap out, tap out.
You had enough? Huh? You had enough? Huh? Tap out.
And she runs away crying, and then Mr. Boss gets run over by a car. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool way to end the episode, I guess. And our little bonus footage, our special little addition there, is just the Green Witch going home to her husband, and she's crying, and the dude's all like, "Oh, so, you promised you would, like, give me some tonight? Are we still on for that?" "Oh, no, it's okay. You have trauma. I get it."
Hey, is it okay if you can still suck it tonight? It's just you said you would before.
It's just a crazy way to end the episode, but wow. Man, this was a very wild episode. They could definitely have more of a budget for season 3, you could definitely tell, because they would not be able to achieve this in season 1 or 2. The animation, I know I've talked about it a lot, but it's genuinely crazy. There's one shot where Pim is like sitting on the floor and it pans out and everything like turns like 3D in a weird way, and then pans back into him as he slowly goes crazy and wants to kill everybody. The fire looked beautiful. All the scenes were incredible. It's genuinely just such a spectacle of an episode. And just for that, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I think the plot was executed very well, because you don't always need a hilarious episode of Smiling Friends. You're watching it for the comedy, obviously for the world, for the concept. I get it. But when it's a Halloween special and you need to do something a little bit scary, they hit the nail right on the head. It is an amazing spectacle of an episode. Taking a look at the episode Les Voyages Incroyables Monsieur Grenouille. The Mr. Frog Part 3 episode, baby! And it's the finale, and there's honestly not a lot to say about this episode. It's just a heartfelt, tragic story of acceptance and inner peace. And God, do I fucking love it so much. The episode opens with Mr. Frog, continuing with his presidency where he takes over the entire world. He beats everybody and he's just done with it. He's like, "Fuck you guys, I'm going home." And he's completely done with it. So he flips the table and they ask him who should be the new president. He points to a peanut, and I love this scene where they just all start bowing down to this peanut. All hail the peanut!
What about that peanut?
I love it. It's great. So we then cut to Charlie and Pim, and they're helping a guy smile who just has hands over his eyes. And he's just like, "Have you tried removing the hands over your eyes so you could see again?" And he does that, and he smiles, he's happy, and he starts dancing. And I really thought he was either gonna get hit by a car here, or Charlie was gonna roast him, but instead he's like, "That guy had a heart of gold, man, a heart of Boolean gold." And I love Zach Hadel's voice. I wish I could talk like that naturally. Have you ever listened to his YouTube channel where I think he talks about like sonic abortions or something? Like, I don't know. He says a lot of funny stuff, but Zach Hadel is just comedic genius with a very comedic voice, gotta say. So they're just going around, they go to get some lunch, and they find Mr. Frog, who is very sad because he doesn't know what he wants in life. He's just going, dust in the wind. He even gets offered by this man. He comes up and he's like, "Oh, hey man, I'm a big fan of you. You wanna have sex with my girlfriend? You want it now?" Mr. Frog is about to kill him, decides not to because it's just not worth it. What's the point? So Charlie and Pim, they go over and they want to help my boy. They want to help him to succeed, to flesh out, to find happiness again. So the first thing they try is to make him a UFC champion, and he just stands there depressed and just destroys the entire roster. He kills a psychotic lunatic, and then they send in all the fighters, and he just stands there, and as they run into them, they just die. Crazy, but he becomes the greatest fighter in the world, the ultimate UFC champion. Good for Mr. Frog, but he still has no purpose. I mean, how could you when you've achieved it all? What was it all for? Hello, I'm Mr. Frog. I'm very depressed. Somebody help me. So they're just sitting on a bench, and Pim starts actually singing a decent song. Oh, something about love. How about family? They're nice to you. What about this little family of bees? He's singing a pretty good song, and I thought it was going to go on for longer until Mr. Frog just decks him, just kicks him as hard as he can, and Pim's just lying on the ground. Unconscious.
There are so many.
Oh my god, dude! Dude, Pim, are you okay, man?
And Mr. Frog's just like, I don't know you, but you've helped me. Hello, I'm Mr. Frog. I need to go now. Goodbye. So he leaves. And this is where the episode truly takes off for me. Because he goes home to see his family, to see his father once again. And it is none other than the lead singer of the Grassroots, none other than Creed Bratton. I didn't expect to see that actor in this episode at all. It caught me so off guard, and he's just painted green. It's so unbelievably funny to see him here. And so Mr. Frog walks in, and he's like, hello, it's been a while, I'm sorry. And Creed, he just starts going on and on about how, oh, your mother passed away. Cancer.
You know, your mother passed away 3 months ago. Cancer.
Yeah, saw you up on that TV eating that bug. Couldn't tell you how ashamed I was. Just getting really deep into it, just hating his son. When your mother was on her bed, where were you? Her last words were, where's my boy? Where's my boy?
Sorry? Be sorry for your poor mother, whose last words were, where is he? Where's my boy? Where's my boy?
I was actually in shock where this episode was leading. I never thought Smiling Friends would get this deep, especially into Mr. Frog, of all people. But he, like Creed, excuse me if I don't know his actual actor's name. I beg for forgiveness. He's a great, amazing, remarkable person. I love him so much. I don't know his name. I apologize. But he did a remarkable job, Oscar-worthy performance, delivering such an emotional speech to his son and tells him to get out and leave. Hello, I'm sorry, I'll leave. So he leaves, he starts crashing out, destroying the forest. He sits down and there's silence. A moment of calm, really. And he says, this is nice, as he's transported into a realm of inner peace. And that's when we get to see the bug of knowledge, which I thought was great. I was like, wow, they're gonna get really whimsical into this, where he's like, hello, I am the bug of knowledge. I know everything, all things. And then he's like, could you help me with my PC? I think I might have a virus. Do you know, what to do about that?
My computer's been acting really slow lately, and I'm just going around asking anybody who can help. I mean, anybody who can help with my computer, because it's a real I need it for work.
I'll be so off guard. The bug of knowledge is asking for advice for his PC, of all things. Mr. Frog doesn't know how to do that. Hello, it might be a virus. Hello, you might need help. So he eats the bug. To gain the true meaning of life, and we get this beautiful scene. I'm not going to go through all of them, where he's dating, living through his entire life. He meets Joe Rogan. He shows his anus off to the world. Just a bunch of freeze frames. Wonderful, incredible, beautiful, great comedy in all those freeze frames. And then we cut back to Mr. Frog, and he is actually just a real life frog, not drawn, just a real frog. And he says, goodbye.
Goodbye.
And that is our beautiful conclusion for the story of Mr. Frog. And of course, we get our little bonus footage at the end where we get to see what happened to Pim. And he walks in bruised, destroyed, using a cane, and Mr. Boss makes fun of him.
Yo, you guys see Pim's new head on Facebook? Oh.
Still really funny. Great way to end the episode with such a deep and impactful ending. It's just, wow. Who would have thought Mr. Frog would have such an incredible and fine story that would just stamp an approval? as one of the greatest written characters in all of fiction. Honestly, like, if Arthur Morgan was watching this, he'd be like, well, I guess he was better written. I guess he was. I guess I'm afraid of Mr. Frog. Hello, I eat the bug. That's what he would probably say, because god damn it, Mr. Frog is peak. He's peak. Yeah, if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 10 out of 10. It's just phenomenal. It completely subverted my expectations of what I thought it was going to be going into this episode, going into some more Frogmania, and I thought it was a really good story with a lot of surprises. Creed Bratton was there, and he delivered a really good, honestly hilarious performance with the circumstances. It shocks you with how deep it is and how serious it is, which I love it. It's great. It makes me laugh, it makes me care about Mr. Frog, and I guarantee you there's many people who were tearing up for this ending. Phenomenal episode. Taking a look at the episode, Pim and Charlie Save Mother Nature, this is a prime example of how, even in the world where I think I begin to know how the characters are going to act, they can just completely and utterly surprise me by doing the weirdest shit I've ever seen. So everybody's going on a nice vacation, they're going to a log cabin, Mr. Boss, Gleep, Alan, Charlie, and Pim. It should be a lot of fun, right? You'd think so. They get in the cabin and we get, you know, probably a scene you've seen a million times on whatever form of media you scroll on, where Charlie and Pim, they find out that, or Pim and Mr. Boss, they find out that they both like Super Monkey Ball 2 for the GameCube, and they turn into rotoscope animation and they dap each other up.
Pim. Bro, I knew I liked you, dude. Come here, bring it in. Bring it in, brother.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's so unnecessary, but it adds so much to the scene in terms of comedy because it just comes out of nowhere. It's just stuff like that that makes Smiling Friends so different from any other show, and I absolutely love it. So Mr. Boss and Charlie, he starts talking to him about the brown blur, a picture in a cryptid that Charlie really wants to go out into the woods and find to potentially get lots of money. So he goes out on a hike with Pim to find the mysterious brown blur. Very, very interesting. So they're out there, they're looking for it, and they eventually stumble upon Mothman. They don't really like Mothman, he's not a very interesting cryptid, so they just sit down on this little bench. Charlie drinks an energy drink, throws it on the ground, and that is when we hear Mother Nature. She's like, oh, who just threw that trash on me? Oh! And they blame it on Mothman. That's very important for later. Either way, cutting back to Alan and Mr. Boss, they're sitting in a hot tub. Alan is just doing some work on his laptop, and Mr. Boss is asking him how he likes his hot dog. And Alan's like, I don't have time for hot dogs. There's just no time. I have a lot of responsibilities. So Mr. Boss gets really hurt and offended by this and goes inside crying.
The last time I tried to make a fucking hot dog for you, man!
Which is a really funny scene. I don't know. It's just how wacky the characters are to see them act. Honestly, to do anything. This entire video is just me glazing the show because it's so good. The characters doing anything is funny, man. Like, Zach Hadel just knows how to make a good show, what can I say? We cut back to Pim and Charlie, who are cleaning up for Mother Nature, and we get this song, it's clean up, clean up, clean up the filth, where they all get super demonic and scary when they start talking about the filth.
Clean up the filth. Clean up, clean up, clean up the filth.
And they do, you know, manage to clean up for Mother Nature. It's all good stuff. Alan and Mr. Boss are having some cookies as Mr. Boss convinces him to relax a little bit. And he's like, ooh, cookies, how delectable. Maybe I should relax on my vacation.
Where do I sign?
Nowhere. It's free.
And they start getting a little bit close to each other, that being Mr. Boss and Alan. Kind of like there's some sexual tension brewing in the air. Like there's some love blossoming. Very interesting stuff. We go back to Charlie and Pim, who are with Mother Nature, and they're leaving, and they find Mothman, and Mother Nature just slams a tree onto him, killing Mothman.
Dude, I just gotta be honest with you. I'm sorry, man. We're not interested, dude.
Oh my god!
Oh no! Mother Nature's evil! Well, willing to kill anybody who is going to disrespect her and make anything filthy in nature. Pim and Charlie are now talking about their situation that they're in, and a little mushroom overhears them say that Charlie was the one who threw a can onto the ground. So it tells Mother Nature, and Mother Nature just grabs Charlie, is about to eat him, and Pim's like, oh no, I hope Mr. Boss do something to save us in our last moments, oh god! Oh, and we cut back to Alan and Mr. Boss. Mr. Boss is just like, as Alan's licking the cookies off his bare chest.
Boss Alan and Gleep swoop in and save us at the last second.
I just remember being in comedic shock from that because why is this happening? Like, there's no build up to any of this. Like, Alan hates his life. He just wants to do work. And then all of a sudden he smells those cookies and he has just an innate desire to lick it off, Mr. Boss. Oh, delectable. Cookies, don't mind if I do. It's just so odd, man, but it's so funny. And then Pim throws a can into Mother Nature's mouth, which kills Mother Nature, slaughters her. Cool stuff. They go back and Alan and Mr. Boss are just normal, like nothing happened. He's just like, thank you for helping me relax on vacation, Mr. Boss. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all we really got there. And then it turns out the cryptid that Charlie was searching for was just a picture of Mr. Boss's ass for a colonoscopy, the inside of his ass. So yeah, good stuff, wonderful stuff. I had a phenomenal time watching this episode. I feel like it's episodes like these where if you want to get somebody into Smiling Friends, it's a great episode to showcase them. I mean, actually, you could just show them any episode besides the president one, the like Chris Chan president one. That's the only one that I really dislike in the entire series. This episode is phenomenal. It really is. It's such a nice change of pace to go from watching absolute dog shit all the time to watching a show where I genuinely can just throw out 10s. I'm giving this episode a 10 out of 10. I know I've given a lot of episodes that I've watched in this video a 10 out of 10, but I feel like they just deserve it. I feel like this show is so unbelievably different from every other adult animated show right now that it all feels new, it all feels fresh, the comedy feels great, and the characters just never disappoint me. Easy 10 out of 10 for Charlie and Pim Save Mother Nature. Taking a look at the episode Moleman, this is just a train ride of a start, with Pim and Charlie just talking about President Shrimp getting shot. Oh no, bro! The shrimp is down! They're just very, debating it and wondering how it happened, and then all of a sudden they just fall through the floor, a sinkhole just appears, and they just go all the way down.
To be honest.
Dude, I'm just asking.
That was pretty interesting to say the least. Mr. Boss is like, oh no, someone call the police! Yeah, he's very distraught about it. They wake up and they're in a cave, they're tied up, and Charlie has this great scene where he's looking at all the pictures surrounding him because whoever tied them up has a bunch of pictures of them. And he sees himself, he looks at himself and he's like, oh, is that what I look like? Oh, I need to lose weight like immediately.
Of us?
Is that really what I look like, man? I need to lose weight fucking immediately. That is really, really bad, dude.
Oh, Charlie, you're so relatable. You get it, man. You get it. And that's when Moleman emerges, and he's so weird. He's so weird, but he's so funny. He's like, hello, Pim. Hello, Charlie. Welcome to my cool fucking mole hole.
I'm so honored to finally have the Pim and Charlie in my cool fucking mole hole.
Do you like it? He's apparently been stalking them for a very long time, and we get to see a bunch of scenes of how he stalked them and how he's grown accustomed to them, and now he loves them. And then he starts talking about his disgusting penis. Yeah, because he has a weird penis. He's just a little bit of a tweaker, and he's very self-conscious about his cock. So he's like playing with fire. He walks up to Charlie and Pim and he's like, are you sure you didn't see it? Are you sure you didn't see my penis? Are you sure you didn't see it? Well, he's like constantly covering it over and over again. It's just very odd behavior, but it's really funny.
Are you sure you didn't see my penis when I went whoop like that? No? Whoop like that? No, huh? You didn't see it then? Whoop.
We cut back to Mr. Boss, Alan, and Gleep, and there's no way to get Charlie and Pim out of that sinkhole, so Mr. Boss is crying, he's on the ground like, the Smiling Friends are over, oh! And then Alan's like, Mr. Boss, we're Smiling Friends. So Mr. Boss gets up and he just starts doing this.
Woohoo! The Smiling Friends are back!
I thought I already was a smiling friend.
Yeah, and he does that for a long time, like the entire rest of the episode. We don't see him until the bonus footage, where he's apparently been doing that all day and he doesn't stop. It's very odd behavior, but Alan and Gleep are gonna go make some people smile. We cut back to Charlie and Pim, and they're just having a dandy old time dealing with the Moleman. They're tied up. They have to reenact some of their scenarios, and Moleman, he makes them go on a call, a Smiling Friends call. And it it goes a little bit awry, to say the least, because they're having this conversation with him, and then he pretends that he is the guy that they have to make smile, and he's also working with them. So he's like, oh, how can we make you smile? And he's like, well, I'm feeling self-conscious about my cool penis. Make me feel better about it. So he just keeps running back and forth, pretending to be the person who needs help and the person helping.
Yeah, what do you think about his penis, Charlie?
And Pim says, oh yeah, it's good. And then Charlie doesn't want to do it, so Moleman starts tweaking and freaking out because Charlie doesn't like his penis.
They hate my penis?
No.
Oh, it's so weird, man. It's so weird. And then Alan and Gleep are still trying to help with the smiling friends, so they go to this lady's house, and he's like, Gleep, we can't mess this up. We have to do this right. Hello, we are the smiling fronds. Fuck!
We can't screw this up.
Ah.
Hello, we're the Schmooling Fronds. Fuck!
It's so good. It's so funny. I think the dialogue is truly what makes the show what it is. I mean, you have the crazy kooky concepts, but this is just everything I need. So they go inside, and we get the most accurate representation of what watching children is like, where the mom leaves for a little bit, and they're left with the 3 toddlers, and they just start beating the ever-living fuck out of Alan and Gleep. Like, genuinely, this kid just tosses Gleep into a wall, and they just bash a chair into Alan's kneecap. And it's so just enchanting to watch these kids just beat up Alan and Gleep. It has some great scenes, to say the least. They eventually even take Gleep outside, and he's getting blown up like a water balloon, and they pop him. Oh, dear lord. Poor Gleep. Poor Gleep. Man, this entire episode, initially when I was first watching it, probably made me laugh more than any other episode in the series. It's just back to back to back with crazy dialogue, crazy situations, great physical comedy. It's just everything you could possibly need. It's great. So they're now running away from Moleman. They manage to escape from their tether. They're running away from him. He's chasing him, and they get all the way to where Alan and Gleep are. They come up, and Moleman's about to kill them. And then the mom who left the children for Alan and Gleep to watch, she sees Moleman's penis, and she's like, oh, I want you to be the mole daddy to my kids, baby. I want you real bad. Which, not gonna lie, I saw that coming from a mile away. Like, the second Moleman was talking about his penis, and then I saw that woman who was clearly a single mother, I was like, oh my god, she's gonna fall in love with Moleman. That's gonna be the big twist. She's gonna be all over that dick. And she was. She immediately wants to marry him. So that's wild. And Charlie and Pim did manage to see his, thriving porker, and they were like, that's actually a pretty good one. It's pretty nice, actually. And Alan's just like, I thought his penis looked delicious. Pop off, Alan.
Hyped it up and said it would be horrible.
Yeah.
And said it would be
I thought
ugly.
it looked delicious.
What's that?
I thought the penis looked delicious.
Pop off. You're doing well, man. This episode was unbelievably hilarious. I loved the concept. I really liked the beginning. Just fall through the floor immediately when we meet Moleman, and the way Moleman talks is just so funny. Welcome to my fucking mole hole. Like, why? Like, he talks so fast-paced, but he's also a tweaker, but he's also, like, well thought out at the same time. I just think he works so well as, like, this crazy, manic villain character for the episode, and Charlie and Pim's reactions to everything is priceless, and the entire concept of him hiding his irregular schlong was really odd, but it was a lot of fun, and the side plot with Alan and Gleep all culminating together with everything, it was really good. I liked watching the toddlers beat the hell out of them. So if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, easy 10 out of 10. Phenomenal, great comedy, got to use all the characters, just perfect. Smiling Friends Season 3 has been unbelievable. This is probably just one of my favorite weekly shows to come out in so long. I actually get so excited every single time there is a new episode. I'm blown away with all the different stories, the different worlds, the different characters, the different lengths they'll go with the animation. Everything about it is just unbelievably good. And this show, the biggest thing that it has going for it right now, at least with Season 3, is consistency. There is not a drop in quality in a single episode. And yeah, I gave some episodes episodes a lower score than others, but it's still really high up there. There is just not a bad episode because they know what they're doing. They know how to use the characters, they know how to make them wacky, they know how to make them work. The writing is good, the concept always works. Just going to make some people smile. It works so well, and it's consistent with that. There's always jokes that'll make you laugh, there's always scenarios that are just so out there, there's some good shock value that actually works. It doesn't just rely on shock value comedy and make you laugh, it actually sets it up, and when things do happen out of the blue, it's something that actually works well and still is on theme with the episode. It's not just, hey look, there's a penis, for no reason. It sets it up and then it keeps on playing onto that joke, and it makes it worth your while to keep on watching the episode. And most of these have insane rewatch value because they're just that good. If Smiling Friends Season 3 does end up having some bonus episodes, I am by far going to make a video on those talking about them, probably just inserting them into the rankings somehow, not in a full video, but I'll say where they would have ranked. But yeah, this was a lot of fun this season, and I genuinely think this is by far the greatest adult animated show to come out in so many years. I'm just blown away by the creative genius of Zach Hadel and everybody working on the show. They did an unbelievable job. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a long time since I've done a longer video like this doing a ranking. I'm hoping this video does well. I know it's just going to be a lot of glazing and gooning to the marvelous writing of this show, but what else can you do? I'm just genuinely impressed all the time I watch this. Maybe it's just because I've been watching so much slop recently for the channel, but going to this where I could get so many different laughs, I could just share how much I love it and just talk about the episode, just talk about my favorite moments, talk about my favorite scenes. It just feels really good. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.